for Jim and Colin to sort of talk tonight. So our meeting 1198. Okay. We have apologies from Frank Chauvier.
Frank is here. I got that wrong.
There he is.
But we don't have to give one for Murray Brad.
Murray Brad. Tony Dalton.
Paul Norman.
Paul Norman. Is there any other apologies?
Didn't hear from Robert Thomas.
Well, he was here today, but I think he's engaged tonight.
Okay.
I did say tonight, but he said no.
Unfortunately, we only just found out this past week that one of our long-standing members, Gus Conn, had passed away. I think Rod mentioned to me that it was something like about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
21st of June, I think it was in 2017, so it's a year and a half ago.
He used to always come to the meetings, and he used to always tell us how old he was.
And he always brought stuff.
Yeah.
Always nice medals for you to part
Then all
with.
of a sudden he just disappeared, and unfortunately maybe that's when it happened. But listen, everybody, if we can all stand up for a minute silence in respect for Gus. Thank you very much. In general business, next month's meeting is going to be on the 8th of April at Phil's house at 8 p.m. Back to our normal time slot. The topic is New South Wales related numismatics. So New South Wales related. Anything that's got New South Wales written on it, I suppose. The NAA conference is on at the Sydney Library on the 6th and 7th of April. I think it's across the road actually, isn't it? Okay, if you're interested, there's a registration page on their website, the NAA website.
No, I've got a partner account.
On Saturday night, because the NAA conference is on the 6th and 7th of April, that's Saturday and Sunday, they're having a Chinese dinner on Saturday night. Okay, now there's also a stamp and coin expo at Hurstville on the 13th to the 16th of June. So that seems to be quite a busy one. It's at the Aquatic Centre in Hurstville. The ANS has been invited to promote numismatics at the show. Now, promote numismatics as in displays.
Well,
right?
with displays, there's no cases. So I said, well, people will be hesitant to put out stuff if it's not in a case. But I spoke to Joe Detling of Wynyard Coins, and Joe's having a stand there, and I said, Joe, if you have room, could you take a case or two for us? So he said he'll see if he's got room to take a case or two.
Right.
I don't know why we're not getting a good view.
May you focus now? All right. So yeah. So just remember in June 13th to the 16th of June. It's at Hurstville. We don't have an address here, but if it's at the same place as last time, it'll be at the Aquatic Centre, and it's on the corner of King George's Road and Forest Road. Is that right, Rob? And
We really can't see you. It's fine up here. Still not in focus though.
okay, and finally, there's no ANS meeting in June, but we've still got April and May, so we'll keep reminding you about the. As you know, we generally have our June biennial conference and the long weekend in June, and because it's the long weekend, our meeting generally falls on the long weekend. This year, the ANS doesn't have a meeting in June. Is there any other general business that anyone wants to bring up? Okay, well, we'll invite Colin to say a few words about his trip to the USA. Following that, we'll have Jim talking about his upcoming auction. So, Colin, if you don't mind.
Yeah, you don't trip over, Colin.
That's right, I don't know if you want.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
I don't know why we're getting a double image.
Sure. Well, I suppose I'm only talking for a few minutes because it's obviously Jim's got the main platform tonight. As you know, every year since about since the late 80s, I've been making a trip to the United States, staying there heading from 3 or 4 weeks to a couple of months. Mainly because we go there because there's a lot of big activity in coins, and I sort of soon discovered very early in the piece that the big show is always in New York, and it always happens to be around about just after Christmas. It used to be before Christmas until 9/11, then after 9/11 it became after Christmas. And again this year it was held at the Grand Hyatt. Is there a picture of me?
No, everyone can see you, Colin.
Okay, fair enough. Okay,
But
so
I've got
anyhow,
it recorded here.
the main thing is that I wanted to sort of give you an outline of some of the events that take place and briefly sort of how we get there and do it. We left here on Boxing Day in last year after the usual Christmas festivities and family and all the rest of it, and I think we were glad to get away on the aeroplane, but of course by now when you get to our age if we're going to go, I won't go economy class, I want to go business class, and of course business class is so expensive, I think why bother? But anyhow, I had a reason to go. I was taking some things over and I was going to pick up some things, and one of the things I could do when I get over there, I'd see a company that I have a lot of involvement with, C&G, and they owed me money so I could grab some money and have time to spend it over there, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to go over and enjoy it. What they try to do in the period we're there is to go to the New York International Show, at the same time take the opportunity of travelling around the United States and visiting various cities, staying in various nice hotels and generally enjoying minus 20 degrees below centigrade. Actually it's quite fun. I mean that was an extreme day, but most days are always round about freezing point. But if you think of yourself like this, if you're travelling in a vehicle, you're travelling in a vehicle which warms up. It's a 4-wheel drive, so it's very warm in the car. It's a beautiful sunny day almost every day. There was not much snow around, if any at all. Only came on a couple of days. So you had travelling was quite pleasant. It's only when you got out of the car you suddenly went to the freezer. And you realised you have to get back under the shelf or get back in the shopping mall or wherever we were going to go and see. So as I said, we left on the Boxing Day. We got to San Francisco, and I think I told you my experiences last year at San Francisco. I thought to myself, I hope I don't repeat this experience where they decided to single me out with my wife and take us into another room with about as many people as there are here who look like they're all the latest drug dealers coming out of Mexico. And so here I am, always wear a tie, always looking very professional. My wife's dressed up like she's ready to go to the big dinner. And we're sitting there, and well, we didn't have to worry about it this time. As you know, last year, all they wanted to do was check our passports because my fingerprint wouldn't work. As you get older, it must get wrinkled or something. And so they couldn't get a good eyeball on me. They couldn't do very much in terms of identifying me. That was last year, but I had new passports. We showed them that. They sort of said, that's okay, we've got it. So this year there was no problems. So we went from San Francisco and flew. We left on Boxing Day and arrived on Boxing Day about midnight on Boxing Day night, which of course you're going across the international date line. So what happens, of course, is you're flying for about 27 hours, I think it was, it finished up because we were held up for a couple of hours at San Francisco. And when you get to New York, it's midnight, it was freezing cold, and you think to yourself, God, we're going to get to the hotel. How are we going to get to the hotel? Now, I think I told you last year how exciting that was. We had to wait about an hour for the local hotel truck or vehicle to pick us up. I said, no more of that. It's freezing cold. We got a cab, went straight there. Anyhow, the next day was very simple and easy. We moved from there to into the New York itself proper, picked up our four-wheel drive and headed off and had the first night outside of, well, New York State in New Jersey down at Princeton, very famous for a university. And we go to the same hotel as the Travel Lodge. And it's very good because, as I mentioned last year, we do enough of this hoteling at the one company, namely Hilton, you get certain benefits. And because she's a Diamond member, and by being a Diamond member, you get automatically upgraded to the best deal going for the cheapest price that you're already offered to pay it. You know, wife Sandy's very good at becoming a ex-serviceman or a NAA, or not the NAA, the AAA member, or you're a senior. You look at the best options, and you get the basic two single beds on, and you finish up upgraded to a king-size bed in a suite or something like that. So that was fun, and mainly I went to C&G as quickly as possible to get my little envelope of money. And of course C&G, a big company with 22 employees, has gone through a fairly rapid change in structure. The partnership of Victor England and Eric McFadden had come to an end in the sense they sold the business to Mike Gascoda. Mike, I didn't really know him, I thought, but Sandy knew him better than I could believe. She had spent a whole night with him one night, not like you think, but at a previous INS, I should say, dinner, at the gala dinner, and she was sitting next to him, and he knew nobody at the table, it was one of the Victor's tables, and so she chatted to him all night, and she said, he's a lovely man, you've got to meet him, Colin. Well, I didn't realise it was him, but I met when I eventually got to C&G. And because he made a big fuss of us and everything else, so it looks like it's going to be a very interesting period, whatever period I have left, playing with coins with these people, and so something I'm looking forward to that relationship. He's got a problem. He bought the company. He didn't buy everything. He didn't buy the building, which Victor owns, which is a big area. It was formerly a kindergarten type thing, but he owns that. Victor owns that, so he gets rent on that. But he sold the library and he sold the business. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't live in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where the business is. He lives in Indiana, which is 12 hours driving away. And his other house is in Arizona, which is 20 hours of driving away. So I'm sure it becomes an impossible situation for him. He's got to think about seriously moving in. So when I said goodbye to him about the 15th of January or something or other, he wasn't coming back to C&G till the beginning of March. Now, obviously, there are people running the company that are doing a good job. And Karen Zander has been, shall we say, Kathy England's offside, office manager and everything else, who's sort of running the whole show. And of course she was very good. I mean, we're very close friends with them, and so what they do is that Sandy said, I've got to try and get some things on a credit card, but they won't necessarily take my credit card for delivery to, you know, a local, it's got to go to the house. I said, well, I have my credit card. So she gives her a credit card, and things were delivered to her house. So Sandy got a lot of parcels delivered there that went there, and she got an obviously the better deal that would be if she's trying to drive over the counter. And the other person running it, of course, is offsider, Travis Markle, Markel, who's the bloke who produces the catalogue, does the hard work like Bob does on our catalogue. And in fact, that was their catalogue, which you see it's quite similar to the Noble catalogues. They only do one of those like that a year, we do 3, but they do have a couple of mail bit sales which are a bit smaller. So, you know, it was interesting, and we obviously went, saw them, gave me a chance to look through some of the lots, see what I was going to be buying, if anything. I was really not trying to buy things, but you know what it's like. You get there and you suddenly think, well, you know, I could buy a few more things, and because I did buy a few things, and not that much though, because the market was so strong. Anyhow, well, let's move on. We went from there to, we went to the, drove around for about 4 days, and then we went back, and then we went straight to New York, with the New York International. Now, the New York International produced this little pamphlet, which I'll pass around to you. You can see it, it sort of tells who's going to be there. There are about 90 dealers. There are at least 7 auctions going. Some of the auction companies like Heritage have about 5 auctions going at different times, and you know, you're just physically impossible. It goes from about the 3rd of January to about the 12th of January, I think it is. It runs for about 9-10 days. And you could spend all day and every night running around doing things. You get to the age that some of us don't, you say, I don't really need to run around everywhere. I'll go to 1 or 2 auctions and I'll have a talk to a few friends, and you become more of a social gathering, you know. You're really not looking to buy coins, you're just talking to people that know you, and you meet old friends, and as you like, we learned here, we learned about Gus passing on, and Mark Friel earlier this year. I learned about a couple of the people over there who I knew had passed on. So you learn that, you know, life is very transitory, and we move on through the years. New people emerge and older ones disappear. So that went from the 4th of January to the 13th of January. When we got to New York, I told you about last year how we got this beautiful apartment. Yeah, remember it? Yeah. This was the apartment where you had 2 bathrooms, 2 bedrooms, 270 degrees of Manhattan, of both the East River as well as the other river, I think Hudson River. You can see right down the south. You can see in the distance the new building that replaced the World Trade Center. You can see the Empire State, the Chrysler building, and I thought, well, it'd be nice if we get something like that again at a cheap rate, you know, the cheapest rate. Well, the thing about it, interesting, I took a picture of it. I won't show it to you, it's on my mobile. But the room rate, we got the same deal, by the way. We obviously went accord. So we got it for about $135 a night. Now this is American dollars, but unbelievable. The normal rate, if you walked in off the street on that same day, it was $2,650 a night. At the peak time in June and July, when the United Nations is going in the summertime, everyone's there, it gets up to $26,000 a night. Oh, wow. This is facts. These are facts. They're on the wall. You look at it and say, my God. But with that $135 a night, we got extras. We got breakfast in the morning for free. Beautiful breakfast in the executive lounge. If we go up there at 6 o'clock or about 8 o'clock, you can have drinks, and this will be in the evening, and kick on again. So we didn't have to go out for evening meals. There was enough food there to enjoy it, so you didn't really have to eat very much and to cover it all. So it was something very special. We were there for 8-9 days, and it was glorious. You know, I don't think Sandy went out very much. She liked it last year. She said, "I'll sit here and enjoy the view," looking at the Manhattan skyline. So the key things that happened that week was the gala dinner, which the American Numismatic Society put on. Now, again, it costs a fortune if you were going there on your own to do it. You know, I think the cheapest thing I could have got for a seat for myself was $1,500 each. But Victor England pays $35,000 again, or was it $25,000? It doesn't matter, for 10 people, favoured friends. Every year he does this, and we always one of these favoured ones, Sandy and I. So we get the table, and I'm sitting 2 away from Basil Dimitriadi. But the man who they were honouring that day, was curiously enough, was Mike Gasvoda, the man who just bought C&G. He'd been executive vice president of the A&S and had given them millions or something. So that's the way you get on in this game. You give a lot of money to the society and you get looked after. And they gave him the special honour of the medal of the society, and they get him, everyone thanking him and everything else here. And I didn't bring the copy in, but he endorsed mine very favourably. My very good friend Colin, I think, I thought, God, you know, he really knows me now. So I got it endorsed, and it's a beautiful publication. I'll pass that around, you can flick on it. There could be a picture of him there. I think there is a bit of a story about him somewhere. I'll let you discover it. And then, of course, the other part of the gala dinner is to do with the big auction. Well, this time I already told my wife, you do not put your hand up, do not get involved. I don't want to finish up buying some great big treasure of 10 cases of wine that I can't do anything with, or something like that, or some medal I don't really need. And so that was a great success for everybody there. We just enjoyed the company of everybody. They had some ancient coins there for sale and some old books. I'll pass that around too, so you can sort of look at it. So these handouts they give you are quite good. At the end of the night you get another handout, and this is by the most curious of coincidence. They gave out a book to everybody who was there. Must have had a bulk sale or something or other, called The Collectors, or The Numismatist in its original French form, by Pierre Bastien. Pierre Bastien was a great French numismatist. He died many years ago, but he wrote a book called The Collectors. And I've got Sandy's in mine. I've got to keep this because I know, I think it was on page 53, it's a story about Jim and I. And it's something that, this book was written in the 60s, in the 80s, early 80s. As I said, Pierre Bastien was talking about the French Numismatic Society. Not an unlike group as this, you know, the various collectors, how they wanted to pursue this and they wanted to keep things secret and all this. Well, it's a very interesting story. And then he was talking about sometimes how things, some of the museums have problems. And you may remember, and I only mentioned this in passing, this Jim and I, well, Jim owned the company when he's down in Bench Street. People came to him a man came to him with some rare coins, some ancient Greek and Roman gold coins. And Jim said, well, I'll hold these and I'll show them to my friend when he comes in. So I turned up and showed them to me. And we discussed it a matter about it. And we thought, well, we should look at the books, British Museum catalogues, and see if they've got the same varieties as some of these Roman gold coins. Because Robert Carson, who was once our patron, had written a book on the coinage of Septimius Severus and Severus Alexander and so forth. And would you believe there's a nice gold coin there, which was pictured in the book. And I said, hello, this raises an interesting question. Why is the picture of the book, coin in the book here, and yet you have it in our hand here when it's supposed to be in the British Museum? So the story goes on, and he tells us that we, in detail, we contacted, or Jim contacted the parent company at that time, which was Spink in London, and said, could you get the keeper of coins at the British Museum, of Robert Carson, to check the cabinets and see if the following, there were 3 or 4 other coins are on their trays. We suspected they might have been stolen from them. Of course, they were. But what happened was that, now this is a Friday afternoon, Saturday morning Jim was going to work, like we do every Saturday here, it seems to be. Turns up, and there's a couple of local police officers wanting to talk to him, from a request from Interpol. So the guy came along on the following Monday, and like here, Jim had to take him into the furthest office away, and they were waiting in an adjoining office there to have a talk to this man. Well, at the end of the day, he got extradited back to England and he got 2 years jail or whatever it was. And Jim got a free trip to England out of it, so it was good for him. But the fact was that this story is regurgitated in this little book by Pierre Bastien, talking about the French numismatists, but he's talking about occasionally other societies and other organisations have problems with their collections and so forth. Anyhow, so that was one of the gifts they gave out, and a few other things as well. So it was, I mean, as a night of investment, it's a bad night for that way, but as a night for enjoyment, it was good fun, and we had good social arrangements with everybody, meeting them and talking afterwards, and you're talking to about 120, 140 people there. It was a good night. So that was that. The dinners, the auctions themselves are pretty spectacular. I only attended 1 or 2. I didn't really get too much involved. I did buy a coin here, which I won't go into great detail of. But what was interesting about it was that I thought, oh, I know that type of coin. It was from a city called Pontedera. You probably would never have heard of it. It's a city up on Thrace, and I had one once years ago, and I sold an earlier example of a piece to Wayne Woolmer. So I read the fine print about this coin, and it apparently there's only 4 known. I did my research on this. And this helps pay for the trip. As I'll explain to you very briefly, it did say this coin was illustrated in the new book by Historical Greek Coins put out by C&G. There's copies of it over there and there. So it was illustrated in the book. This is the actual coin illustrated. And what is more interesting, it was sold at Roma 14, which has happened to be on the 21st of September 2017, as block 83 for a hammer of £6,500. And the estimate on this was $2,000. Well, I have to buy that. That seems too cheap. That's ridiculous. That's a year and a half ago. So Herb Quine was the auctioneer, and I'm a pretty good mate with Herb. And I'm sitting way over the far right. He didn't have a bid at that stage, so he called for a bid, an opening bid of $1,200. 1,200, any further interest? My bank sold at 1,200. Well, I bought it. Now, then the funny part starts. Sitting next to me is none other than Del Parker. He said, "When did you just buy them?" I said, "Well, that coin there." Huh? Hey, and he starts to read the fine print. He said, "This is what, $14,000 you're up for 1,200 plus the extras, you know." He said, "I'll buy it from you." I said, "Well, no, I'm not interested in selling it." He said, "I'll double your money." Now, no deal. "Oh, no, look, you've got to look after me." I said, "No, I don't have to look after me, I've got to look after myself." Before I left, I sold it to another friend of mine who'd been there for $5,000 US. So that helped pay the bills. We bought a few other things too, so that was the way it went. But that was just one of the interesting stories that come out. There wasn't that many stories, of course. There was a lot of other things happening, and basically I suppose I should wind it up. After we left that show, we went and travelled around the whole of the eastern part of the United States, going down as far as South Carolina and Myrtle Beach. And funny enough about Myrtle Beach, I happened to be watching a show the other day, a murder thing on TV about some murder on the beach at Myrtle Beach. And we were on the 14th floor of the Hilton Hotel, right at the end. And it's looked straight down on the swimming pool and everything else. And this photographs are taken of this murder scene from that virtually same room, looking at the pool, looking where the murder took place. I said, "God, I was there." So, you know, interesting story. So we had a good time travelling around into the lake in the cold, but enjoying the travelling around as well. Went back to New York, spent a couple more days, got back into the same hotel that we talked about before, and we had some friends around, and that's the way it went when we got back here, about the 8th or something of February. Had a good time, spent far too much money, come back broke with all the bills waiting for you know what it's like, and everyone else wanting money from you, so I thought to myself, I've got to stop this, it's too expensive. Thank you very much for your attention. That's a brief overview of what we did. Thank you.
Are there any other questions for Colin?
You all wish you were there, don't you?
Except for cold weather.
Oh, you want to look at that yet?
But you know everyone, which makes it a lot
Yes, that's
different.
right. It's always enjoyable to listen to Colin with his American trip, because sometimes it does tempt you to come up and tag along one day.
Pity we haven't recorded them from day one. You have some interesting stories, you know, the great fur hunt and all those sort of things. Remember that?
Oh, you would have. Yeah.
Oh,
Colin, there's a certificate
thank you very much.
of appreciation for the presentation. Thank you very much. Okay, well now we'll go to the main event of the evening, and Jim's going to give us a brief overview of the upcoming auction.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, Jim.
Hello, everyone. You've got me a little bit earlier this time, although the auction's on in 3 weeks from tomorrow. We advertised it originally as a 4-day sale, but it's a 3-day sale. 3 days and nights over there at the library, in the Dixon room. 4,534 lots in 3 days and nights. And there's something for everyone there. There's a lot of interesting stuff. Apart from coins, there's some very important Ottoman edged weapons, swords, including a presentation sword to Admiral Napier in 1840 by the Sultan of Turkey, and that is being offered by us because somebody recommended us to the owner, who's now based in Turkey, and he doesn't want to take the stuff into Turkey because he won't be able to get it out. So that was his situation. Gives us the chance to offer these historic things. The sword was held in the Navy Museum in England, and then in the Royal Maritime Museum in Greenwich for many years, and the family took it out in recent years to have it sold at Sotheby's. Sotheby's valued it at £55,000. They weren't successful in selling it. I think they were a bit nervous about something, and it went to Oriental Arms, who sold it to this guy who owns it for 65,000 US. We've got it in the sale for 50,000 Australian dollars. So if you feel like investing in a sword, there it is. It's good value. We've got other items from the collection, about 30 items, including a chainmail helmet, and we're going to try and put some things on show in the front window if we can in the next week. It just depends how we go with it. We're getting all our auction lots numbered. I've got them here. It's come together very quickly, this sale. While Colin was swanning around in New York having a lovely time getting discounts, I was cataloguing madly, and Bob was travelling around overseas as well and paying the penalty now. He's out there trying to number lots and melt them up. So, but as you know, when you own a business, you've got to stay there and make sure it happens. And I'm going to make sure this auction happens, of course. So I brought a few to show. It's an interesting auction because in the last minute we got a couple of very important items for it. They're both going to be on the front or the back cover of the catalogue, which is coming here on Thursday, if not Wednesday. It's with the printer, and it went online today. So my son's sending out a letter tomorrow to 5,000 subscribers to the internet. So everyone will know about it tomorrow anyway, around the world. But we got, at the last minute, the first coin of the United States, an American cent of 1793, a chain cent, which has been living in an old box of coins in England. And the chap lives in New Zealand, but he came in to visit us here only recently to say he had this coin and would be interested. Of course we were. Brought it in the next day. I said, I'll put it in and give it an estimate of $40,000. So the first United States coin, minted at the Philadelphia Mint in 1793. They experimented with patterns in 1792, but this is the first actual currency coinage that was issued. It's known as the chain cent. What's interesting about this one is it's struck with the full wording America. The original die engraver, Voigt, had trouble fitting America in, so he abbreviated to America, and we had one of those a few years ago, which coincidentally also came from New Zealand. This one's in nice condition, not mint, but it's got a good patina, and it's an interesting die state. It's die state 3, where the dies, while they were striking them, and they weren't that used to minting coins, a blank didn't go in between the dies and the dies clashed. So you've got an impression of the chain going around Liberty's head a little in the die, which is on the coin that's struck. It's quite clear, and some pundits have said that's where the expression came, "Liberty in chains," because America was all about freedom and the union. The chain was linking all the colonies together, the states together. So it's a very interesting coin, and nice to have it coming up here. And the other interesting coin we got was one from South Africa. It's a Thomas Francois Burger's pond. Now we've had damaged ones, we've had reasonable ones, but this was in mint condition, and it was given to me by a man called Warren Adams, whose father was a lawyer born in Hamilton, New Zealand in 1906, and he went to South Africa in 1930, and by 1937 he was a successful lawyer, and he used to buy things, and he recommended South African coins. So we've got an original cutting from the Rand Daily Mail of 1937 offered with the coin. There were other coins that he had in his collection, like a felt pond, which is the one struck in 1902 during the Boer War. Struck in the field is what it means, the field pond. And then there's the rimless and rimmed blank ponds, which they didn't have time to strike because they were out there fighting the British, and they issued these coins to pay the troops. So interesting little bit of South African history, which is not totally dissimilar to Australia's, and these coins coming up with that provenance, so that's exciting. So that's what I'll show you tonight, among a lot of other interesting pieces. I'll give them to Rodney now. We'll start the ball rolling. We always start the sale out with miscellaneous Australian coins and then go on to misstrikes. I thought I know you all love misstrikes because they're always interesting and intriguing. These two sixpences are rather interesting. This one here, I'll give you the first one. Sorry, 42. Do it in catalogue order. I might need to get a copy of the catalogue so I can refer to coins. This one here is a misstruck sixpence. You can hardly hit the flan, did it, the die? Very off-centre. So that's unusual. So I think I've valued that at a few $100s. I mean, I think there must be a few people collecting misstrikes. Anybody in this group collecting misstrikes? Yeah, very nice. So this one's interesting because it's got the full milled edge. It hasn't slipped out of the collar, but something's happened and something's flipped over and it's been struck again with the reverse there, just a piece of it. So that's a very interesting misstrike. 1951. So what would have been regarded as rejects at the mint are worth money today to collectors. This one's interesting. It's a 50 cent struck on a 10 cent blank. So the wrong blank went in and it was struck and escaped. It's been in auction before, but it's a really nice example and quite rare.
There's a more current one. That's more recent though.
Yeah, very recent, decimal coin. Yeah, very good. I think it's dated, we don't know. It's late, it's probably in 2000 and something. Maybe I've got something down in the catalogue. 1999 or later, it says.
Go by the portrait.
Yeah. Now, we go through a whole series of Australian coins, historical medals, there's some convict engraved tokens. That's in the third session. Colin's brought parts of the catalogue here that he's found.
Yeah, so it's first today.
I was saying those misstrikes, I was telling them about them, 42 and 43. They are 42 is estimated at $500. That's the misstruck sixpence of about 1950. The 1951 sixpence, flip over, second strike, 90% off centre, is $750. So these are bargains you can buy.
They're always bargains.
I've got the wavy 20 cents. Two of them came in from a chap who had them. He had other decimal coins and things, but these were two standouts, and I actually enlarged the picture in the catalogue so you can see the wavy too, so you don't make any mistake misidentifying them. There's some other coins misstruck. So we go through all that. We go through decimal with gold, Australian Commonwealth. There's some interesting engraved convict medallions, which seem to create a lot of interest with museums and collectors. There's some historical medals, one of which I haven't picked out, but would interest Les. It's issued by an early school medal. It's issued by the Normal Institution. It was founded by Henry Carmichael in 1834. He was born in Scotland in 1796, and after getting an MA in theology in 1820, he moved to London and then worked as a private tutor. In 1830, he was engaged by the Reverend Dr. John Dunmore Lang to teach at his proposed Australian College in Sydney. They both sailed aboard the Stirling Castle and arrived in Sydney in 1831. And it goes on, and it talks about the history of this college, which was in Hyde Park in Sydney. It became the Sydney College. So a very historic medal, which hasn't been on the market before. It's been rescued from a family that have had it for decades. Silver, yes, but not hallmarked with any identified maker. Then we have a number of beautiful life-saving medals. One in silver from 1876. We have an Aboriginal king plate from Rockhampton in Queensland, and there is a very good Bravery Medal, the Clark Medal in gold for the Royal Humane Society, which is estimated at 15,000, and I'm sure is within all your reach. After that, we've got quite a few miscellaneous items, jewellery, that sort of thing, New Zealand coins, lots of sovereign, lots of sovereign. There are over 1,000 gold coins in this auction. If you think about that, it's quite an achievement, quite a feat. Then in the night session, we've got proclamation coins. And I'll show you this one, which is not the usual 1 pagoda of Madras, but a 2 pagodas. And that's from a deceased estate from the Rado collection. A nice example. And it's estimated at about $2,000. Yeah, $2,000.
What year is that one?
It's about 1810, Rodney. We've got several New South Wales dumps. The first of our coins, first whole coin to be struck in Australia, struck from the centrepiece, punched out of a piece of 8, which made the holy dollar. So we've got several of these. This is a nice one of 1813 with the die, Myra dies D2, which has the punctuation or the full stops between New South Wales. Quite a nice example, estimated at 25,000. Every respectable member of the ANS should have one in his collection. If you haven't, or ever had one, you've failed in your responsibility. I mean, what sort of collectors do you call yourselves if you haven't had one? I mean, how could you go through life without owning a dump? A nice Adelaide pound was brought to me by a chap who lives in the country, and he's had it for a long time. He brought it in about the same time as our last auction, so I thought I'd show you this one. I had a dealer looking at it today, and he was excited about it.
No, that's not a crack one.
No, it's just the die 2, the second die, but it's in nice condition. It's hard to see through the plastic, but anyway.
No, it comes up nicely up there.
Oh, good.
That's excellent.
It's in good condition anyway. We've got 3 Adelaide pounds in the sale. That's estimated at 15,000. It's graded as nearly uncirculated, I think, or good extremely fine. This is a first type sovereign in lovely condition, 1856, from the same owner. I've got 7,500 on this. 1856. The first sovereigns were struck in 1855. We have 2 of those in the sale, but this is a nice example of 1856. Yeah, it's got a bit of mint bloom and, quite good condition. The next coin I've got selected is a half sovereign of the same type, 1856, the first issue of the Sydney Mint, in really lovely condition. And this is estimated at $10,000. You get worn ones for 1,000 or 1,200 or 800, depending how worn they are. But to get them in this condition is very unusual. This is a particularly good one. It was bought by the owner in 1989. But I sold some of these coins in 1976. If you were smart and come in to see me in O'Connell Street and beat Bob Jaggard off, you'd have been able to buy them for about $200 each. We had a few then. This is the 1858, which is probably from the same hoard, lovely condition, well struck, uncirculated, a lot of mint bloom. I think it's estimated, the 1858, I should look it up, it's estimated at $6,000. It's graded as uncirculated. One of the finest known. There you go. $6,000. No. Well, that's a start. It's an auction. Anyone going to... I'd love to auction them tonight. You know I would. I'd be very happy. And we've got some beautiful shield sovereigns. This one's an 1881 Melbourne. I picked out high-grade rare dates. I don't think I've seen a better 1881 Melbourne than this. It's a beauty. It's a beauty. Now, I'm trying to remember where this one came from. 1881. Yeah, I haven't got a pedigree. I said it's possibly the finest known. It's enlarged in the catalogue. So if you want your free catalogue, come in here and see me. It'll be here on Thursday, Friday and over the weekend. Doing this 3 times a year is not easy. You people put great demands on me because you're interested in the coin market, aren't you? See how much your investments have gone down by?
We have to go up.
Just by good, that's an 1883 Melbourne, which is another scarce date. I mean, the really rare date's 87 and 1880 and 1886, but these coins in this condition are really unheard of. This one comes from an old English collection, which we were lucky to get, and it's listed separately, the collection's listed separately in the catalogue.
Is this Melbourne too, or Sydney?
Yeah, Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Yeah, 1883 Melbourne. And it's estimated at 3,000, I think. Yeah, 3,000. 3,500, sorry. This is one that I've given by accident for you to look at. You've seen it before, but it's a 1922 Sydney. In Sydney we didn't have many sovereigns minted in the 20s, and a lot of them would have been melted anyway, but recently a guy came in, he had a medal struck at the Sydney Mint by King George V medal, engraved to a man called Miller, and he had a sovereign, 1926 Sydney, wrapped up in tissue, beautiful specimen, struck when they closed the bin, I'm sure, and presented to him. Beautiful coin. So he wouldn't sell it, his daughter's a lawyer and he's just put it back in her safe, but he wanted to tease me with it. I said, well, I can get you 40,000 for that. It's a great coin. I really appreciated seeing it. That was the same week as I got the US cent. So life's never dull here. There's always something different happening.
It's very interesting.
And we have some very nice half sovereigns of the Imperial series. Young head, this is a very nice 1877 Melbourne. This actually one was sent to me by an expert collector in England who's all excited about it, and I tried to calm him down because I've got another one in the sale just as good. He said, oh, it's got the thin ribbon, and then I looked at it and it looks the same as the other. They have these varieties now on Australian gold coins. You've got to be very careful how you identify them, but that's a very nice example, and that's estimated at yeah, that one's estimated at $3,000. Yep, very nice, nearly uncirculated. The next one I'm going to show you is one of the ones that just is unbelievable for condition, and it's the rarest Junkhead shield half sovereign, 1885 Melbourne, and it's absolutely beautiful, mint condition, like a proof. And this comes from the Jim Rutherford, Max Stern hoard, I'm sure, because that's the only ones that are known. They turned up decades ago, even before my time almost. It's a beautiful example, estimated at 15,000, no, 12,500. I was generous, gave you a discount. Got to try and get some publicity for this sale, so can you get me on television in the papers, please? Get excited when you go home from this meeting and say there's a lot of good coins coming up. This is 1304, so this is a one from the from the English lot, It's just an example of nice condition. Uncirculated 1875 Melbourne St George Sovereign, Younghead. Now we don't get them like that in Australia, they usually get wrecked a bit. It's really in nice condition, isn't it?
Yep.
Mint blue, bit of dye flash you can feel.
Yeah, not used to.
Ross will be excited about these, he needs to get back into this game. Sell the farm and buy sovereigns, you can't go wrong.
He was heavily into gold, wasn't he? The Duro collection, as I remember.
Sell a few of those.
Yeah, that's right. Here's a beautiful Sydney Mint coin, 1887 Jubilee head. And it's the scarce type with, it's McDonald number 174, which is choice uncirculated. I've estimated 1,500.
Robert Sonner will be after that.
Oh, I don't know, he's such a whinger. He sees any coin, he finds something that he's got to stop himself buying it. Yeah, he might be after it, who knows. It is a lovely coin. He was in today, but quite unexpectedly. It created a bit of excitement amongst the staff and the people trying to do accounts and everything. Later on, we've got Commonwealth coins, and we go through some proofs, no patterns. But this is a beautiful 1914 sovereign. I've got it estimated at 3,000, but it's, yeah, florin. What did I say?
Sovereign.
Oh, sorry. Florin of 1914 in mint condition. It's got, you know, I just liked it. I thought, you know, it's worthy of 3,000. It's not the rarest date, but it's well struck. It's got toning, and on the other side it's got dye flash, I'm sure.
I think it's destined to be slabbed, that one.
Oh, yeah, I don't like slabs, but you know, the dealers have to have them because the investor who buys it and believes the spiel has got to have it certified that it is in that grade.
But you've been certified.
And then you don't have to look at your coin anymore, you just have to collect the number.
You've been certified.
If I'd been certified, I should have been. I'm still here after 45 years or something in business, but I've been in coins since I joined the society. I was in coins before, but I went there in 1960 and met Colin Pitchfork and Mark Freehill and others. Yeah, interesting experience. Some people never learn. I was a kid collecting stamps in 1953 for the coronation and the royal visit, which was a school project, and any amount of Women's Weekly photos you could cut up and put into a scrapbook. You'd fill 5 scrapbooks, I tell you. There was so much publicity when the Queen visited. That's a lovely 1922. Now it's a key day, always awkwardly struck. This is a beautiful specimen, and I put a big price on it, but it's a must buy for those collectors. If only 5,000. I mean, if all your florins are in that condition, you've got something to be proud of, haven't you? So why not try it? Anyway, when I got this little consignment in of florins, this centenary florin was in amongst all the other florins, and it's just a normal florin. Well, I looked at it and I said to Gerhard, who brought it up, I said, look, that's the best centenary I've ever seen. Now, I've enlarged it in the catalogue. You can't see it here probably as well on the screen. But there it is enlarged. The sharp wreath and the nipple there, which is what they rejected. They said, we cannot issue a coin with a nipple like that. So they did something to the die and issued the rest of them. But this is a first strike, very good example. And only acquired as an ordinary florin in a collection. With the lighting the way Rodney's got it, you can't see it that well, but it is a perfect coin. Although Robert Thomas said, oh, it's got marks on the top rim, and you know, I was going to buy it, but you know, it'll probably go for 10 grand, but you know.
But that'd be a good one for Mardi Gras.
Well, we know what you did last week.
Oh, look at
Yeah, it's a good coin.
it.
It's estimated at 5,000, and we've made a big statement here. I've said the finest we have seen and handled, worthy of the record bid. Now, I once had one in an auction, belonged to a Tasmanian collector, for $350, and it sold for 12,000 years ago. So it must have been a good one like that. 5,000's the estimate. It's for sale at any price. After the Australian, that ends the first day, and then you go the next morning to the British coins. And a lot of British silver. Now, one of the big collections I've got in the auction was collected by a man called Professor Donald Simpson. He was a neurosurgeon, lived in Adelaide, and he rang me up a few years ago and said, "Jim, I want you to know that I've put you in my will to sell my coins." Thank you, Donald. But he was a very meticulous man, little rimless glasses. He really did look like a professor. Very quietly spoken, but obviously very erudite, very versed in history. He collected European and world coins from the 1300s to the 1800s. And this is his Henry VIII silver shilling, which he probably would have romanticised about, talked about. Old copper nose, because he debased the coinage, is what they called him. When the coins would turn up, they'd be worn and you could see copper showing underneath the silver.
So he's good at debasing his coins.
He debased the coins to make money. He was Henry VIII. You'd be lucky to survive if you were one of his wives.
Definitely not.
Then along came Good Queen Bess, and Donald Simpson has a silver crown, which I kind of remember it, but it's quite a nice portrait. And I didn't put big. I think I put 1,500 on it. So you know, you've got to get to this auction. You know, you can only get these things if you attend and buy. I mean, you can try your luck at your absentee bidding. It's only 1,500 estimate. Now, the only reason I said it's been enhanced by tooling in the fields, but the rest of the designs on it, just the obverse field, they've tooled the fields around the portrait and around the shield to make it contrast better, because they're flat coins, hammered coins. So it's not a bad piece, eh? You happy with that? You can't see it. Well, stand up and move over. You're not an old man yet, are you? No, I'm working on it. You've been in New York running
You can
around.
see it tomorrow.
I can see it here.
What number was that, Jim?
Number
1562?
1562. And here's the half crown, which is also quite a good one. And he got it from me in 1977. In June 77. I must have sold him for $150 or something. Anyway, it's 2,000 now. It's not a bad half crown actually, and they sell them for 2,000 plus pounds in England.
Looks like it's been clipped on the top, doesn't it? Someone's gone taken a bit of silver off.
No.
No?
Slightly double struck in the legend and weak in one area at 3 o'clock, otherwise very fine. I'm showing you English coins and other coins because they're not what you see every day here. He was not a collector of high grade, he was a collector of history. So he was happy enough with a coin that told the story. This James I crown coming up's got the Prince of Wales feathers over the shield, which is a rarer type to get than the normal crown. This is James I of England, who was formerly James VI of Scotland, lived for a long time, one of the Stuarts. That's estimated at $900. There are numerous coins, some of them grouped together in lots, like you might have 10 coins in a lot or 5 coins. There's even a quite worn Shrewsbury Mint silver half pound estimated at $700. In Charles I there are quite a few coins because of the different mints during the Civil War, and we have a nice example of a crown. lot 1586, a crown of Exeter mint, dated 1645. And that was bought from M.R. Roberts in July 1982. It's not a bad coin. It's estimated $1,250. Am I going too slowly?
No.
We're only halfway through them. Good. We've got a Civil War siege coin. There is one of Newark, which I'm not showing you. It's not bad. It's estimated $800. It was bought from Laurie Nugent. This one was bought from Spink, London in 1980. It's the Pontefract shilling, 1648. Estimate 2,500. Now that's quite a rare coin. OBS, obsidianal, is what they meant by emergency money for struck in a siege town. There was a book published there.
An Australian collection?
Well, it's Simpson. All these are from Simpson, Adelaide. I mean, he had hammered gold as well. The gold coins come after the silver in this auction. This morning session at 9:30 has got all these wonderful coins. When everyone else is asleep in bed, you can be buying them. Then we move on from the British series. They've got the mill coins. It's got quite a nice crown of 1666 with the elephant under it, which is a rare variety, which I remember selling years ago. Then we go through the British silver and tokens, and then we get up to Scotland, and he was obviously very interested in the Scottish issues, so we have a few of those. This one's one of Francis and Mary. They have funny coins, Scottish, so I've got to look it up and tell you what it is. It's a testoon of type 111A. I wonder what that the hell means. I think they should have meant the type 3A. Roman numerals. Anyway, 1556, and it's $750. It's under Mary. Then there's a second period one. Is that the one under Mary? 15? No, I've given you 1693. That's the Francis Mary. I've got one of Mary which I haven't shown you. Oh, what a pity. Anyway, that one's $250 you're looking at. It's a testoon with a countermark. You see the countermark on it? A thistle countermark. Now that's for a revaluation in 1578 under James VI. It was revalued from 5 shillings to 7 shillings and 4pence. Now the Scottish talked in funny money. They really did, because everything's multiples of what the British is. So this one, 1696, is a half merk, which equals 6 shillings and 8pence, and it's got 6 and 8 beside the shield. 1574. It's estimated $200. These should all be bought, these Scottish coins. They're very hard to get. We once sold a better Scottish collection years ago. It belonged to a man called Lindsay Steele. And it's the only great Scottish collection we've had. I've always found them very difficult to get, but very interesting. This one's a James VI, 30 shilling piece, issued in 1582. And he actually bought this one from A.D. Hamilton of Glasgow, a dealer in Scotland. So he bought his coins from the dealers in Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney. I don't know about Brisbane, might have bought one or two, mainly in those areas, and he used to visit coin shops. So he was a true collector. And every coin, I only got it recently, has its own index card. There's a little filing cabinet with the index cards in it, and I didn't have them in time to put pedigrees on everything. I added some pedigrees to the English stuff, the important stuff, but every coin's got the detail of where he bought it. So it makes it very interesting. His daughter, who inherited the collection, has given 111 coins to the Art Gallery of South Australia. Peter Lane's going to talk about the collection at the NAA conference, which is being held after our auction here on the weekend over at the library in the Macquarie room. So you are aware of that. It's been advertised in the Coin and Banknote magazine, and that's one of the key talks by Peter Lane talking about this collection. This one here is a half balance merc, equals 6 and 8 pence. I don't know what happened. A balance half merc of 6 and 8 pence. So money value has changed. It's James VI again. There was a man in England who, Ian Stewart, who was a boy, wrote the book on the coinage of Scotland when he was 16.
Something to do.
And it became a standard reference, and he became a famous numismatist, but also a parliamentarian. He was a member of the Conservative Party in England, and he became known as Lord Stuartby, ultimately. He passed away not that long ago, and wrote a book on coinage of England. I met Ian Stewart at Baldwin's once, years ago. Peter Mitchell introduced me. Thought I'm mixing with the rich and famous here. Well, he wasn't rich, but he was famous as a numismatist and a bit of an intellectual prodigy to be able to master the Scottish coinage at a young age. Unfortunately, part of his collection was stolen. Well, these things are terrible when they happen. Why people want to steal things? They can't do much with them. A lot of his collection got donated to a museum. His English coins were sold by Sphinx under the term the collection of a student, a scholar, yeah. A scholar's collection. Interesting, eh? This one you just looked at was a crown, like we call them, but it was a 60 shillings. See, 5 shillings, 60 shillings. Britain 5 shillings, Scotland 60 shillings. James, it's estimated at $400. This one coming up now, 1711, it's a
Restoration.
very nice milled coin, Charles II, and it's called a dollar, $1681, $750. It's a good example for that coin. High grade examples bring about £1,500, and they're hard to get. I think again it's 60 shillings, but it doesn't have it on it. It just, they called it a dollar. I think some of these coins are being shown here for the first time. Members haven't seen these before. Scottish coins. This is a 40 shillings of William and Mary, 1692. Estimate $400. After the Scottish coins, we come to a series of the early Irish, which are usually in pretty rough condition. The coins of Henry VIII and Henry VII, and mainly Philip and Mary and Elizabeth and James, and also Charles I. There was a lot of rebels and a lot of warring going on, and we've got, for the Irish series coming up, a very good example of a blacksmith's half crown, struck by the Royalists in Kilkenny in 1649, the year the King was beheaded. And this was bought from Spink in London in 1991, and it has a ticket for £300, but I can't see the ticket there. You have to marry that up, I think. It's a bit of a rough coin, isn't it? Die-wise, you know, crude, but that's what they were doing, making coins to pay the loyal troops or whatever.
Is it a crown, is it? Or
Half crown.
half crown?
A blacksmith's half crown, they call it. Probably because it's made by a blacksmith. Then we have Irish coins proper. I have a very good collection of modern Irish for both the Irish Republic and the Irish Free State, as it became later. And high grade, all different dates. The only thing missing is the 1943 florin, which is only 6 known. Ooh. That one's a 1934, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Very good half crown. Okay, so the Irish series, if you like it, it's a very good collection there, condition-wise. And a man was a meticulous buyer from our sales and other places. And he's got some of his descriptions on the coins. And then we come to medals. And historical medals, we always have an interesting selection, but this particular one's interesting. It's the it's the Christchurch College in Cambridge medal in gold. Now, it started with George III, but this one was issued in 1893. Solid gold. Look at the size of it. It's estimated 3,000. It belongs to an old Australian family who used to specialise in pawnbroking. So you never know what they're going to bring into you.
Well, they probably never knew what they were going to get too.
Beautiful coin. With metal.
Yeah, it was awarded to Richard Holmes, 1893.
What?
It's in the case of issue, but of course we haven't got the case here to show you, but it's here. But
It's heavy anyway.
yeah, it's,
Any edge engraving?
edge is inscribed Richard Holmes, 1893, and on the marked on the lid, Gilliam, 446 Oxford Street West, and Searle St. He's got Lincoln's Inn, established 1690. That's in the, but it's a very interesting medal. Thought you'd like to see that, Les.
Thank you.
Then we have a bit of English gold, which comes up in the session at 11:30. There's some ancient British gold staters, and then we get into some Hammond and Mill gold. This happens to be Edward VI, half sovereign. It's estimated at 1,500. It was bought from a man called Phil Dawson in 1988. He used to have a stamp and coin business in the Adelaide Arcade.
What denomination is it?
It's a half sovereign, 10 shillings. That's what they called it under Edward VI, and then under Elizabeth, because she had the fine sovereigns, 30 shillings. Then she had these other slightly lesser gold, pounds and half pounds. This is a gold half pound, again, like 10 shillings. And this one was bought from Spink in 1988 from the Numismatic Circular. It's not in good condition, but it's what it is. It's a half pound of Elizabeth with her portrait. Only $750, so you'll be steaming into that one. Why wouldn't you buy it? I mean, a sovereign's $500 today. You're kidding. If you don't come to this auction and spend, you're crazy. I'm not saying it because I need to sell them to you guys, but this is the opportunity you've got over everyone else. Then there's a very good Unite of Charles II. The second issue. I don't know, he suddenly bought a reasonably good looking coin. Condition. It was bought from Spink in 1988. The estimate's 4,500. It's, you know, quite a good one. Yeah, 20 shillings. You've got the two X's behind the head. 20 shillings. And it's Nice coin. He also bought one of the, when they started introducing the guinea coins under Charles II, he's bought a 2 guinea piece with the elephant under the king's head, denoting the gold is from Africa, from Guinea. Hence the name Guinea. Gold coins. A guinea was 21 shillings. They were the standard coins from Charles II on, right through to George III, when the sovereign was 1664, the first year, and it's only $1,250, and you probably got $900 worth of gold there. I mean, you're crazy. Get along to this auction. I can't afford them. You guys have got to buy them. This is a sovereign of George III under the new... I could have shown you a couple other coins, but they're ones that you've seen before. This is a nice condition, new coinage sovereign of 1820. Does it look good?
That's actually.
Yeah, it's quite good condition, yeah. So, anyway, it's estimated at 2,000. It comes from old William Rado's collection. He used to poke about the coin scene here. He lived in London for many years and came to Australia.
So that's the last of King George III sovereigns.
George III, yeah, he's the last year, 1820. That was the coin that Pastrucci designed with St George of the Dragon, which is on our window, the famous design, which has, been going on for a long time. Yeah. Then we go. That's the end of that session of gold. Then we go into world silver coins, and this is again where we've got some interesting stuff. This one here is a Ferdinand the First, the Holy Roman Empire, Austrian silver thaler. Ferdinand, he was the son of Maximilian, and the different titles appeared on these coins in abbreviation.
They all had big horses.
He became emperor in 1558. But this coin was issued, it's not dated. It's quite a nice example. It comes from the Rado collection rather than the Simpson collection. Simpson had a lot of these coins. This one's from the Rado collection. It's estimated at, sorry Ron, you can move that if you need the light to see. Some of the coins can be dark. It's estimated at 400, that one. The next one's another Austrian thaler, Maximilian II, 1573. It's actually dated on the coin.
It's better when the light was further away.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult with the light and the plastic and everything. But
That's 15.
Yeah, 1573.
the next one's a double thaler, a 2 thaler piece of 1670.
And this is Austria too.
It's undated, but it was issued 1670 from Hall Mint.
Leopold Hogmouth, is it?
Yeah, Leopold the Hogmouth. It's estimated at 900 because it's lovely condition. That's from Simpson's collection. I've got to look up where he bought it. We can find out if you need to buy any of his coins. You can consult with me. I'll keep the information before returning it to the Art Gallery of South Australia about his coins. You can find out where he bought them. It's a lovely collection to have got, but I got it and the others were overseas and I had to catalogue it and had other things to catalogue, so deal with all the usual crises in business. Good, Morris, I'm glad you came in. Makes this job interesting though when you get stuff in all the time and you're never expecting it sometimes. It's like getting a Christmas present you weren't expecting. There are some good coins of the British colonies, and this one here is a coin of 2000. Bohemia, Ferdinand II, a Jochen style Thaler, 1626. Estimate's $200.
I thought Tishy would have bought that one.
Yep. Well, Michael's got to come back. He just can't stay over there. He needs to get and buy these coins. Somebody tell him.
Yes.
Has anybody heard from him since he went?
Last I heard, he's not living in Prague, but he's in the countryside and he bought himself a house or what next in the country. So.
Oh, he's happy. Eh?
How often do you hear someone reading a coin that you've never seen before? How often would that happen?
Not often, but it does happen. Yeah, I mean, some of these coins that Simpson's got are unusual. I mean, I never collected them myself, and these European coins are interesting. This one here, a lot too. It's very interesting because he seemed to have quite a few siege coins. He had some Asian coins, which I've got John O'Connor in the catalogue, so there'll be some bargains there if you look carefully. This one is, there's some nice French coins. I didn't pick any of the French silver coins out. There's quite a few nice ones. Can't show everything. You've got to come and inspect. The viewing starts very soon. The formal viewing starts 2 weeks from Wednesday.
1892.
But you can come in earlier if you like. This one here from Strasbourg under Johann George von Brandenburg. It's an emergency clip 80 Kreutzer of 1592. And it's been inscribed on the back in modern language to tell you where it's from. Its estimate is $300. I think you find this auction's a bit interesting for collectors, isn't it? It's got a lot of collector coins in it.
Unusual stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how many times can you get this sort of stuff in Australia? Not often. Then there's some Italian coins which are quite nice from the Renaissance period. That one is a coin of Gian Galizia Maria Sforza, Duke of Milan, 1481 to 1494, a silver testone. And that came from the Tom May collection. And Noble Numismatics was in sale 99. The estimate's 1500. It was illustrated in the Coin and Banknote magazine in April 2008. It's a very nice example. Renaissance portrait coins are unusual, popular. This next one is again from Tom May's collection. It's of the next ruler, Louis Maria Sforza, Ludico, 1494 to 1499, a silver testone. And this was illustrated in the Cab magazine. Estimate's 1500. From the Simpson collection, we have exactly one of these estimated at 500, but it's only very fine. just all about condition, but also this one we sold previously for more than 1,500 in an auction. We have a number of coins of Milan and other places. Then we have some coins of the popes, papal states. This is one example. It's a Pius IV, 1559 to 1565, silver bianco or half lira of Bologna mint. Estimated at $150. Our catalogue says 2. What the hell's going on there? How did that happen? That's wrong. Found a mistake with this tone. Well, it says 2 in brackets after the description.
2 in brackets, there's 2 of them there, there's not.
No, there's not. I better investigate why that's happened. I wouldn't have written 2 unless there were 2 coins. Yeah, I will. Give me a chance of showing it to the collectors gathered. No, oh, because they haven't written it. It's only a single coin. Crazy. 2405 is... I can't blame Bob. Blame the typist. Oh, there's a very nice siege coin I wish I'd have shown you earlier, one of Amsterdam. This one's one of Groningen siege. 12.5 stivers of 1672, estimate 200, silver coin. There's an earlier one, lot prior to this, which is larger, which was issued for the Amsterdam siege, 40 sols of 1578, and it was bought from Jacques Schulman. It was struck from chandeliers, lamps and vases of the church of Notre Dame. Interesting. The history of these things. Siege coins, emergency coins. There's a very good Russian coin which came from another collector who gave us a few good coins. This one's a Peter the Great ruble of 1705. Quite a rare type. Estimate 7,000. We've got other Peter the Great rubles, the later types, but they're $200, $400 each. I guess you guys won't be buying this one, unless you're mad keen. From the old collector I was telling you about with the old pond, this is a double shaft South Africa, 5 shillings, Paul Kruger, 1892, in lovely condition, a double shaft.
Oh, it is lovely, yeah.
He acquired his coins in 1937, so what he did was he sold his British coins in the 1950s in London when he moved out of South Africa, and gave his son the South African coins. That's the only reason they survived. His son's tried to buy a few coins, but he's in his 80s now, his son. Nice condition, eh? It's estimated 2,500 because it's rare in that condition. I'll have somebody ringing me up from Namibia or somewhere wanting it. Ah, we come to the piece de resistance, the American coin. It's lot 2546.
Oh, this is the one sequence one.
So your chain coin, is it?
Oh, that's in the gold series, World Gold. We've got to wait till we get to the World Gold. This is in catalogue order. Okay, the cent is here. It's enlarged. Here it is, the chain cent. A man called Voigt was the original engraver of coins for the mint when it first opened. It was quite crude in his style, but it's interesting, flowing hair of liberty. If you read the American grading service, it says to be very fine you've got to see the ear of liberty, but in this particular die you can't see it because it's very raised and flat and doesn't show up, so you can't just take that as gospel. The reverse is good, very fine, which has the chain, and it's really quite a good patina, quite a good surface. The coins are interesting because they have interesting edge markings. They only struck a few thousand of these. This was struck in, I think, May 1793. Now, of course, you can see an Englishman going to America and getting an example of the rebel country, which has got freedom and all that, liberty, and taking it back as a curiosity to England and leaving it in the family collection, passed down. And this chap, pretty elderly, who brought it to me, and he said he went to England to get it out of his grandmother's gathering coins. He thought, oh, this is a good coin. Luckily he brought it here, eh? And
I'm sure Spinks would have loved it.
this is a $half proof, Liberty seated $half proof. I thought it'd be nice to show you a brilliant proof. Yeah. Lovely toning. $2,000 is estimated. Am I going too long, Tony? We're getting close to the end.
Kettle doesn't take long to boil.
I can't show you everything. There's numismatic literature in the sale. There's some boxes of books over there near where Les is sitting. They are box lots of books. British Numismatic Journal, the Syllogy of British Coins. They all come from a Queensland collector. And over here we've got some, on the trolley, some very good books on ancient Greek coins. So honestly, it's a feast for you collectors. In the World Gold, I thought, well, I'll show you a Brazilian gold coin. You don't see it every day, nice condition. What number is it? 2664. There's a lot of Austrian gold coins. I've got an Austrian collector who gave me a lot of gold coins, including rare commemoratives. This one's a 20,000 Ries of 1851, estimated at $1,000. Another bargain. I could have shown you that Austrian evidence I meant to show you from Maria Theresa. I just had to work very fast to do this. We'd be here all night if I showed you a lot of things and talked about them. So, I know you all love the way the Chinese coins get bid up in our auctions. Well, this is a nice coin of Yunnan province, of $5, showing General Chang Chi Yao. You've all heard of him, haven't you? 1919. It's uncirculated, ex-rado collection, 2,000. I bet you it beats estimate.
Yes, I have a suspicion that will go wrong.
And you said, was it a $5 you said?
It's a $5, yeah.
$5, yeah.
Yunnan province in 1919 under the Republic. This is an interesting one too. The next one, it's a 673. Where the hell is that in the catalogue? It's the Republic, $10, year 8. Shows Yuan Shai Kai, 1919. Year 8, so it's 1919. Colin said it's possibly from a ring mount, but I think that's just to keep the price down. It's a beautiful coin. Rare. The Chinese will love it. For 3,000 they'll love it, because I think they're usually about 10,000. A nice coin of Napoleon. This is I've enlarged it, 2693. It's Bonaparte, the Premier Consul. Because it's in good EF, I thought it'd be unusual for this coin to be in such nice condition. So I've estimated it at 900. It's from Rado's collection.
What year is it?
Year 12A.
Oh,
Yes. Just as a type, it's quite expensive. You won't believe the next coin I'm going to show you. I'm sure it's the only one ever seen in Australia. And as they asked the question recently, who was it, Tony? Well, I've never seen this coin before, never heard of it before, okay? Yep. The man came in, he said, Jim, this was amongst the stuff that the box got waterlogged under the house, scratching through the family's old things, but he'd done his research and looked it up. It's actually a coin of Germany, issued in Hanover in a little area called Wollmoden Gimborn by Johann Ludwig. It's a ducat of 1802. And what happened was Johann Ludwig was the illegitimate son of King George II of England, a Hanoverian, and he was given some land, so he decided to strike this commemorative coin. He was raised under the name of Wollmoden Gimborn in the imperial court, so only 400 were struck. So it's Germany's rarest gold coin of the 19th century. And that turned up here completely unknown to anyone. He could have sent it overseas, but I said it's a beautiful example. I gave him a receipt for 20,000, then I went to catalogue it. I noticed that it has a small rim bruise at 4 o'clock. I thought, oh crikey, I've got to reduce it. So I've given you a $2,500 discount. The last one that was sold by Kunka for €15,000. This one's there's some nice Indian coins, but you get a lot of the Bengal Mashudabad type mohurs which we sell in the proclamation section. This is actually a East India Company coin in the name of Shah Alam II, with the mint name Mashudabad, but it was struck between 1769 and 1790, gold moher with the regnal year 19. It's good, very fine and rare, catalogued by Colin for only 1,500. But the way the Indians are going, it should make more. Very good example. That's from the Rado collection. That's a lot of Arabic writing for you to decipher. Colin, if you bring any of these coins in, Colin can identify them in no time for you. Reads every year. The East India Company issued these coins in William IV and Queen Victoria's time, the lovely mowers with the lion and the palm tree, in both one mower and two mowers. Well, we've got a mower here in nice condition. Estimate is 3,000, I think. 3,500. Good, extremely fine. Again from the Rado collection. An old member of the society was collecting these by variety, a man called Roy von Bock. I haven't heard that he died, but he must be over 100 now.
Yeah, I haven't heard that he passed.
He's in a nursing home or some place, facility.
I think he's still on the active list, so
Yeah.
still getting mail.
Amazing. He joined the society in 1954.
So he collected gold.
Yeah, well, he collected these mowers. He used to tell me about the varieties. Loved them. But he's not bidding actively now. Did you let him know? I'm still...
Yeah, waiting for your call.
Oh, somebody gave me his number to give him a ring. This is a proof like 5 rupees of 1870. Quite a rare coin. It's catalogued at 10,000, but I said, oh, it's nearly FDC. We'll put 4,000 on it. Wouldn't it be nice to get a handful of all these coins coming in?
Yes, thank you. Just one.
It's a nice one, that one, isn't it?
Yep.
Unusual. And of course Indian coins are so popular and very strong in the market. Very strong. In fact, every time I sell them I think, is that the right price I got? Or is that on the way up?
Well, the Indians
What
have
have we
money
got here?
now.
We've got this one out of order, haven't we?
No, no,
Oh, no.
that was 771, this is 775.
Okay, this is a coin of... I meant to show you another one, but this is its partner. It's from Milan in Italy. It's a Sovrano, because it was like we had the Austrian Netherlands, we had the Austrians controlling Italy. So it's a Joseph II Sovrano, or like a Sovrano, 1788 M from Milan, and it's estimated at 1,500. What a bargain.
That's the correct way around. May not be the crown at the top.
Past
That's the correct way
We're going
around.
too long. Oh, I need to wind it up, yeah. They're all getting restless. The natives are getting restless. I've illustrated a couple of Japanese coins. You've got there a nice 5 yen of year 6, 1873, the first type. You'll see on the other side the flags and the symbol. That's a 5 yen, Matthew, that's a 5 yen. Of the first type, year 6, they tended to be larger coins in the first issue, more gold in them. And then later, in the later major issues, they were slightly smaller. The next coin I'm going to show you is a very late 20 yen of year 44, which is 1911, before the First World War. Nice 20 yen gold coin. $1,500 estimate. Cheap. Then we come to a piece de resistance. We come to, we go through some Portuguese and Russian. We come to South Africa. And the one that's on the front cover of the catalogue, the Thomas Francois Burgers Pond of 1874. Beautiful condition. Lovely coin. As good as they get, really. One of the finest known. And the little newspaper article there from the Rand Daily Mail when, what's his name, R.T. Adams, I'm not sure of the first names, but he, his son's given me a biography of him. It's in the catalogue.
You collect South African, Matthews? That one's
More
for you?
family from there, but yeah, so yeah. I have
Great example, eh? So his estimate's 40,000. We'll see what happens to it. There are also some ponds. There's an 1892 pond. There's some half ponds which are nice, but I haven't brought those out. But this is a double shaft pond in virtually uncirculated condition. 2,500 estimate for the first year. Two. First year of the Paul Kruger.
1 pond.
Two. It's a 1 pond
1 pond, yeah.
with a double shaft to the wagon. The rare one in this series is the 1892 single shaft, which is one here. I'm giving it a look at. And that's it's a little bit worn, but it's very fine. And it's rare. The estimate's 1,500. Tom Hanley of our society had some nice South African coins, some of these. We had a very good collection we sold. We had the single shaft and the double shaft. But he didn't have the felt pond, which I've got here, which is like an Adelaide pound of South African collectors. The felt pond is estimated at 15,000 because it's in really nice condition. There's some strange metal flora on one side, but these coins were struck in the field when they were fighting the war. There's the machinery set up. Done in 1902, South African Republic. Zuid-Afrikaan Republic. 1 pound, in pound, I don't know, the Dutch talk funny, don't they?
£1, yeah.
Not many people use them.
Made a movie of that, didn't they, on Golden Pond?
Yeah.
So,
Had to get that in.
need a bit of humour.
Here's a, I'm trying to be humorous. Gosh, give me a break. Let me find the actions.
Oh, this was what?
Okay, this is a coin of, a Sasanian coin of Sharper, a gold dinar. And it's quite a rare coin. The estimate's 8,000. Quite nice condition. I don't have the ancient section in, it doesn't matter. I don't need it. Just a pitchfork will correct me. If he's around. Is he retired? Go on, Gonski. The Roman aureus of Faustina. Just to give you a few examples of the ancient gold in the Saar. Not too many, but there's a few. Chuck was in studying the catalogue for the Byzantine today. I think that's estimated at a few thousand, I can't remember how many. Oh, we've got great war medals and great banknotes, you know, it just goes on and on. There's nice gold solidus of Irene, the Empress, very rare Empress, $10,000 that one, great rarity. A couple of examples of Italian silver Greek coins. The Syracuse, a coin of the secular Punic issue of Carthage. The Sicilians and North Africa were close together. That's a lovely example with the female head and then the horse's head.
Horse, yes.
Beautiful horse's head.
Yeah.
Silver. That's $5,000 that one.
Carthaginians and their horses.
Yeah. And the wise owl of Athens. Final lot I'll show you and we can conclude.
That's a Venus.
So remember, I'll be here all weekend. If you need to get a catalogue, you can call in, pick it up by hand. It won't cost you anything. All right? I think I'll be getting them on Wednesday, but maybe Thursday. We have to get the mail out ready and do that. But it's online now, the SAR. You go to our website. See all 4,534 lots. Thanks for listening and watching. Hope you enjoyed it.
Any questions for Jim?
Yeah, how do I get the money?
How much for the box?
Is there any bargain?
All bargains. You'd never pay too much. I've told you that time and again.
You won't get bargains when you talk.